Hey y'all, it's Jordan or JorWish and welcome to or back to another video. Before we get started, I just want to tell you all about my cute, cool, quilted leather jacket. And thank you so much to Jacket Maker for working with me on this video. I love a good statement piece and the jackets on their website are amazing. So I decided to go with this one just for like my everyday look. I feel like I could just put it on top of this like pretty simple bodysuit to just give my outfit a little bit more character. This is the, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, the Adeline quilted distressed brown leather jacket. It's such high quality, like it has a little weight to it, so I know it's gonna keep me warm. I love the high quality zipper that it has. It's just such high quality. I don't think I've ever had like a leather jacket be this high quality. I'm already thinking of like all the ways I could style this. If you're interested in shopping with the Jacket Maker, definitely check out the information in the description box below. And you can use my coupon code, which will be on the screen. They have other leather products other than jackets, but I just want a jacket. Probably gonna have to get another one because this is too cute. Like this, and this color is like the perfect distressed brown. Like, okay, and without further ado, let's get on into the video. Bye. Hey y'all, what's up? I feel like I haven't talked to you all in a while. I've been on like a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back now and I wanted to talk with you all while I do my makeup to go get ready. I actually have like no real plans, but I need to film. Yeah, I wanted to give you all a rundown on like how I studied for the bar. I did post 2 vlogs, which are kind of just like video diaries on like how I was feeling and like a little bit of my day-to-day, but honestly I wasn't prioritizing vlogging or capturing content at all. It was kind of just like whenever I felt like it. So now I'm gonna kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of what were the details that went into me studying and like the phases that like I went through studying. I guess some background first for people that are new here. I graduated from Howard University School of Law in May 2023. So yeah, I went straight through to law school and I graduated in May and took the July bar exam. And I took DC. DC is a UBE state and I think the passing score for DC you need like a 260 something, maybe, I don't know if it's, I think it's like 266. So yeah, that's the passing score you need for DC. I ended up passing, thank goodness, on the first try and I got a 304. So I actually did way better than I thought I was gonna do. I was literally aiming for like a passing, like 1 point above passing, or like I think I was aiming for like a 270 to just like, so when I read the score I would just automatically know that like I passed. I think I got a lot of great advice. I also got some bad advice, but I'm in no way an expert. Like I said, I only took the exam 1 time, but you know, what I did, I think it works. So I'm here to share, here to help, and here to just give more context on like everything going on. I'm gonna be looking at the mirror right here. Going into bar prep, I knew even just like the time before I started studying, like I said, I started studying May 15th, which was like literally right after graduation. I graduated May 13th, had my grad party May 14th, woke up that Monday morning, started studying for the bar. It was such a journey, you guys. It was like the most humbling process. Day 1 of me studying, I broke out in hives. I was so stressed out. Like it was just, oh my gosh. But you know, it only got better from there. But I'm just like saying to prepare you all, because I just had no idea. I don't know, like I knew it would be hard studying for the bar, but I had no idea it was gonna be this crazy. And I think that's just because I, for the most part, like I don't go on Reddit. I was never like really on Reddit even before law school or in law school, so I didn't really know much to expect. But whew, it was humbling, girl. It was very much humbling. It wasn't like, oh, like I knew I had it in the bag. Like no. So that's just for starters. But I guess like before I even started studying, I started to do things like I would try to like redecorate my apartment or make it more cozy because I knew I was going to be spending more time here. I bought like motivational quotes to like put around the place. So like my mouse pad says like you can do it, like 6 times, but like just little things to bring me motivation. I started going to church more regularly. Before I started studying, while I was studying, I didn't really go to church, but before, just to like fuel myself up because I knew this was like going to be a daunting process. I tried to get like just all the little things out the way pre starting to study. So like if you're in a space right now, just like thinking, even just thinking about where I'm going to study, like just have all those logistics figured out. If you're like, oh, I don't know, I would try this place out, like start trying the stuff out now. Get it out the way. Try to figure out what type of learner you are. Get all your equipment. If you're like, oh, my laptop isn't the best or something, like just start trying to be proactive now, because once that time starts, it seems like you have all the time in the world, but really you don't. So I just wanted to make sure, like when I started studying, which I took exactly 10 weeks, that like it was time to study. It wasn't like me figuring anything out. So I think that helped because I just didn't have like, you know, I was just focused on the bar. Like I didn't work, I didn't do anything else but study for the bar and like work out and like, yeah, let me start saying like. But anyway, that's pre-studying. So now we're gonna talk about studying for the bar. Basically, when I started studying, one of my friends, Antonia, who she went to UC Irvine for law school and she passed the bar on the first time. She gave me tons of advice. She was just such a mentor through all this. And she sent me like a bunch of stuff. And I think like if you're in law school, like people are probably gonna send you a bunch of stuff. And I'm gonna be quite honest, I probably did not really start opening that stuff like immediately. But it's nice to have, and it's just like, either whether it's outlines or whatever. But one thing that she did, I think that like I really gravitated on, was the phases of bar prep. Now the thing that she sent me, it has 3 phases, but for you all, I'm going to tell you that for you all, like what I'm going to tell you all how I studied, I think I could make it into 4 phases. So we will start with phase 1, okay? And phase 1 I will call is just like learning, trial and error, and just like getting acclimated. I did Barbary. I don't think they're all like that different, but I just did Barbary. I chose Barbary because I used their supplements during law school and they were really helpful. Like the Barbary lectures definitely helped me with like Civ Pro and like all that. So I felt like if I responded well to the supplements, like let me just stick with what I know. I didn't feel like learning anything new. I also did Barbary because what was it? Oh, things were like shutting down. But I think, okay, basically Themis was like going out of power the year I was studying for the bar. Like Themis was down, but the year before it was Barbary, the one that was down all the time. So like, I don't know, I think maybe Barbary got it together because they were down the last year, but now Themis had problems. So, and I felt like it was down for like a days, y'all. Like it wasn't like a shutdown. So I'm glad I chose Barbary. But hey, it could have been Barbary because like I said, the year before, Barbary was one with issues. Goodness, I'm glad I have these notes, y'all, because I'm getting off topic. Okay, so yeah, the first phase, which we're gonna call, like I said, the learning phase, that's when you're like watching your MBE lectures. So MBE are the subjects that are the multiple choice subjects. Every subject that's on the multiple choice can also be an essay subject, but there are also subjects that are essay only, if that makes sense. So MBE subjects are like property, crim, con law, contracts, Civ Pro, torts, that stuff. I'm not even gonna try to name them all, but maybe I did. I don't know. But anywho, so yeah, you're watching, the first few weeks, I was just really watching the lectures, and you follow what your program tells you to do, right? So like Barbary since I started so early, Barbary was telling me, oh, you need to study for like 5.5 hours per day, which is like nothing, you know? I was like, oh my God, bar prep is so easy. Like it's so chill. I'm only studying for 5 hours a day. And which really was like 2 to 3 hours a day, because some of that stuff wasn't taking me as long as Barbary said it would, you know? Like Barbary thought it would take me like 40 minutes to do 8 questions or something like that. Like I was speeding through stuff at first, which looking back, I'm kind of like, was that just all a waste of time? Because I probably could have went straight to just doing straight adaptive bar, but I think the process helped because I never felt too overwhelmed or rushed. So I was happy that the first few weeks was just me watching lectures. Sorry, let me actually put it into the list. Watching lectures, and I would also build stamina. So when you're first starting, like you can't really do, like there's gonna be those crazy people that are like, oh, I'm doing flashcards. But it's like, girl, like we just had one lecture, like you're just like, we're not even done with the subject and you're already doing flashcards. Like I wasn't that type of studier, maybe that's you, but I kind of tried to wait until we finished the subject to actually start studying it. Like that just made more sense to me. But once I did like have a few subjects under my belt, I would try to do sets of like 10 to 15. I had to work my way up to doing 25 questions and a sitting, like literally just building my stamina to be able to focus and like concentrate or like do those 25 questions. Like I had to build it up. So I was doing that. I was also just getting familiar with the question types, because bar exam questions are so different and they're so hard. Like the multiple choice were so damn hard. So just getting used to that. And when I tell you when I first started out, I don't know, my scores were never amazing. So yeah, basically watching the lecture videos, I took notes as I watched the lecture videos. I know some people say don't waste your time taking notes. If I don't take notes or like highlighting, like I was typing notes and I was also highlighting in the book. Eventually, I think I stopped typing notes though for like the MEE, but like in the beginning I was typing notes just like I was in class. And I think I did that, one, because I was nervous, and it also just helped me stay awake. Like I didn't want to just, I wanted to only watch the lecture video one time. Like I didn't want to be like, oh damn, like what happened? So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna watch it. I didn't speed anything up. I just watched the damn lecture. But like I said, I wasn't pressed for time, so yeah, I'm glad I wasn't. And then at the beginning, and then also I would do, no, I wasn't even doing NPTs at this point. So yeah, I was just really watching lectures. I was watching lectures, I was practicing multiple choice questions with like the subjects I had done, but I wasn't like too targeted with my practice. It was just general, which like that's why I'm saying it probably wasn't that productive, because I think it's way more productive when you focus on like a type of multiple choice. But at the beginning I really didn't know what I was doing. So just watching lectures, and this is like the first month. Just watching lectures, la-di-da-di-da. I was probably only studying like 5 to 6 hours a day. Sometimes, yeah, 5 to 6 hours a day, really chill. Like, you know, like you build up, like you don't start like the first 2 weeks doing 12-hour days, y'all. Like it just builds up to that. And if you do that too early on, you will burn out. Just remember it's a marathon and you don't want to be tired at the end. And remember, the only thing that matters is what you put on that exam. So phase 1, and then I would say the end of phase 1 is when you take that diagnostic test, which, oh my god, okay, this is kind of a hot mess. There's so much to talk about. So this is probably not going to be the only time talking about this. So if I leave stuff out, just remind me and I'll mention it in another video. So I just have that pressure off of me. But basically, so yeah, the first 4 to 5 weeks, I'm watching just lectures, just doing straight Barbary. Occasionally, I'll do like a supplement here and there. And then another thing that I did was like, once I finished a topic, I tried to just do a review of that topic for like a day or half a day. And sometimes I would do that with a group. So sometimes it was me, Kiara, and Lexi. Y'all know. Oh! What the hell? Okay, so it was me, Kiara, and Lexi, and like we studied together in law school, so I knew they were on like my type of time, and we were all doing Barbary. Kiara took the New York bar, but Lexi and I did DC. We all passed. Ooh, my whole study group passed. Period. And so we would meet up like literally once a week-ish for like the first like 4 weeks. We would meet up once a week, and we would just drill a topic. So like, let's say we had all just finished watching the con law lectures, right? We would just, and we did like all of our con law stuff. We took the con law, like I think after everything they make you take like 25 questions in the subject as like a benchmark type of thing. We did all of that, and then we would just do our own meetup to just like really go over it, because when I can talk something out with the group, that's how I know I learned it, versus in a video, sometimes that stuff doesn't necessarily click. And one critique I will have with Barbary as well is their lectures don't always correspond to how the questions are written. So it's like, damn, I learned all of this, but the question is literally asking me about the one thing I didn't talk about in the lecture, or like it's just like a loophole type of thing. Oh, my tan. Y'all, I just got back from Aruba. Don't mind the oil stains. But anyway, so we would meet up like once a week to just like go over the subject. So that would mean we would either like go over an outline. Like I think Barbary created outlines, so we would like go through the outline and figure out things we wanted to talk over and stuff. And we would write on the whiteboard, write rules things on the whiteboard. We would do that, or we would also answer multiple choice questions only on the subject. So I think like that extra review helped as well, because it was just helping things stick. And when you talk about stuff, especially with the group, it kind of helps you remember, because it's just memorable to have like damn, we were all wrong about that, but I bet you we're not gonna miss it again. So stuff like that. And that helped me with like when stuff was boring, like property, it was so boring and just like bleh. But if I did it with my friends, it was a bit better. And we would literally put the questions up on TV, you know, use the little Roku, like chilling. So we would do that, and then we're just all building up to this diagnostic, because we just felt like, okay, the diagnostic is when it's like, oh my god, like that's how we're gonna see how we're really doing, because that diagnostic is like a full MBE, which is like the multiple choice day. The bar is 2 days, so the multiple choice day, a full day of multiple choice, just like the bar, same amount of questions. And I took it in person. Like that's the day when we're gonna see, okay, do I have a chance at passing this shit? So once we got around the time of the diagnostic, I'm talking like maybe like 2 weeks out, I started to realize, hey y'all, like Barbary has it set up where we're not going to be done with our lectures. We're not going to be done watching all the MBE lectures until after the damn diag. So why would we take a diagnostic and we haven't even learned all of the material? So my smart self was like, we should go ahead. We should not listen to Barbary. We should make our own schedule to where we're done with all these lectures 4 days, 3 to 4 days before the date of the diagnostic. So that way we have 3 days. We're done with the lectures before the diagnostic. And then we have like 3 days to just review the material so that we can really prepare for this diagnostic. So that's what we did. I was the only one out of our study group to take the exam at Howard with like other people around that was proctored. Lexi and Kiera, they took it on their own time, but Lexi did take hers in the library so that she could like not be in her, you know, apartment setting and just get used to being out. So I think that helped, and I think Kiera might have done the same thing. So you can do both, but I wanted to be in the proctor setting because I don't know, it's just mental. Like I just really wanted to have a dress rehearsal, and I definitely recommend doing that. It just helped me be able to like, because even you kind of have a little shock when you just see other people, you know, because it's like you've just been so isolated for a month. You haven't seen these people since graduation. You've probably had a few mental breakdowns studying for this test, and then it's like, boom, wow, we're at the diagnostic. So all of that, phase 1. You take the diagnostic. That's, well, now we're in phase 2. And once you do take your diagnostic, you're gonna get your score. My score, I think I got 101 right out of the 200, which I was aiming for 50%. God gave me a 101. So I was like, okay. And that was not, you know, that's not a passing score, I don't think. No, definitely not, because you need like 60% overall. But Barbary really shows you like the types of questions that you do better at, that you do worse at. And they gave me like a full breakdown thing. So after I got my results and, you know, did the diag, phase 2 was when you start doing still lectures, because now you're going to start your essay lectures, which are subjects like corporations, security transactions, wills, trusts. So you have those lectures. But so in addition to watching those, I really started just like filling in the gaps with my MBE subjects. So this is when I finally started to listen to advice that people were telling me way in advance, which is like, focus on like a specific type of question. Like, don't just say, oh, I'm just going to do evidence and multiple choice. Like, no, are you going to do hearsay? Or like, it's like, I can't even remember those subtopics. I think I remember for crim, like, or for civil procedure, like, are you going to do, you don't just say I'm going to do civil procedure multiple choice. Like, no, you need to focus on, okay, is it like motions? Or are you going to focus on, I literally cannot remember the shit. But like, there's subtopics within the things. It'll come to me later. But focus on those. That's when I started focusing on those, and that's what really started to like improve my score, because I would just think, oh damn, I just don't know the subject and I'm just gonna get these questions wrong. No, I just need to know the type of question being asked, and that's when I can learn how the test makers are writing these questions and like start to recognize the patterns. Because after a while you see like, okay, they really are only asking a few things. It is hard, but you get to it. So I was doing that. I also started doing 1 MPT a week, and I would alternate weeks, as in like 1 week I would do one where I wrote it full out, and the next week I would just bullet point it. And I started doing 1 a week because Barbary was not telling us to do that. It was just like randomly I was talking to people and they were like, you know, so-and-so has been doing MPTs. And I'm like, oh wait, damn, I forgot we even have that portion. And like when I was introduced to it, it wasn't like a big thing, but I was like, dang, I forgot we still have to do that. So like Barbary didn't tell me that. Like I had to just do it. So I started doing 1 MPT a week, and that was helpful because that is just like practice. I think I did Sundays, like Sunday morning I would start the day with the MPT. And what else did I do? Okay, I also started doing 2 to 3 essays a day, and that was really helpful because like I said, Barbie was not assigning that. So I just on my own would say, okay, hey, what have I done today? I need to do my 2 to 3 essays. And So that's when I started making, like, if you see my vlogs, making my essay tracker and all that. Make sure you're doing your essays, because you can think, oh, I know how to write, but it's a lot to keep up with, you guys. So you just want to be disciplined. And like, whenever you think you're doing extra, like, I'd be like, damn, I'm doing so much. But I would tell myself, I only want to do this one time, so I'm gonna give it everything I have, because no way in hell am I doing this shit again. Like, I was just so mad, like, I was just so enraged studying for this, and I used that energy to like work really hard so I would be done with it. And when I'm saying I'm doing 2 to 3 essays a day, I'm doing them closed book, period. I don't think I did anything open book. That is crazy to me. I think maybe because Howard, I'm so used to doing closed book stuff, but I heard a lot of people were like practicing doing this stuff open book, doing multiple choice questions open book. I mean, if you need to, but like phase 2, you should definitely be doing closed book stuff. Another thing I forgot to mention this earlier for phase 1, but I wanted to just say, at the beginning of the exam, Barbie has all these introduction videos, like, I forget what they're called, like immersion into so-and-so. I just skipped all those. I just skipped all those and went right to the first lecture, which was evidence. So yeah, I also skipped the explanation videos sometimes. It just depends, but like, don't be afraid to skip stuff is my advice. Like, you know yourself, you got this far, so like, just don't waste time on things that you know are not helping you. I didn't know going into it people would skip stuff if I was like being naughty for skipping videos, but like, I skipped some videos and like, it was fine. But okay, yeah, that was phase 2. Next, we're gonna go into phase 3. Phase 3. This was the most intense phase of them all, because phase 3 is when I finished doing all my lectures, and I made sure to be done with all of my lectures exactly 3 weeks before the exam. 21 days. I wanted 21 days to do nothing but study. I want to be watching no type of videos, and no, I just wanted to study. So this is when I really started to drill and do memorization. So I would always start my day either with 33 multiple choice questions, an essay, or an MPT. And from however that went, you know, go over that. And then I would do target practice on whatever subject I picked for the day. For sometimes I would do 1 subject a day, and then I eventually could do 2 subjects a day. But I would just pick it out. Like, beginning of the week, I'd be like, okay, these 2 days I'm gonna do wills, towards, then I'll do crim and common law. Like, I just would pick it out, so I already had on my mind what I was gonna do. I wasn't sitting there being like, what do I do? Like, I just made my own schedule. And okay, at this point I'm also like fully off Barbie. I think I stopped listening to Barbie like midway into phase 1. Like, when I said right before the diagnostic, I still, you know, watched Barbie and did all that stuff, but I wasn't necessarily doing the things in order that Barbie told me to do, if that makes sense. I would do 2 to 3 essays a day. This time I was doing mainly 3 essays. Like I would do 1 in the morning, 1 in the middle, and then 1 at night, or like evening. And then I upped it to 2 MPTs a week, which I would either do like Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Like, I started to do more MPTs and practicing them full out. Like, I would do 1 full out and 1 bullet point 1. I started using the adaptive bar flashcards. Throughout all of this, I was using the critical pass flashcards, which are the ones that like that come with Barbie, and they were okay, but they weren't translating to me doing better on the multiple choice questions. When I started using the adaptive bar flashcards, which I saw in Lipsticks and Latte's videos, she recommended doing that. And when I tell you the adaptive bar flashcards, now that correlates to a damn question, and that's like the whole thing. Like with this, like I just felt like I was learning all this information through the Barbie lectures, but when I would get to a question, I was still feeling like I don't know the answer. And so what helped me get the answer was adaptive bar flashcards, because they asked them, I don't know, but I liked the adaptive bar flashcards. Like, so I started doing those like way more often in phase 3. And then I also started to drill rule statements. So rule statements, if you don't know, it's like, you know, IRAC method, issue rule, like how you answer a question, but you only take the rule. And what I would do is I would take the rule from a model answer that Barbie has, and I would write it by hand, and then I would write it again, and then I would write it again, and then I would just write it until I didn't have to look over at the Barbie book anymore, that I'm writing it from memory. And so I would do that for like I would do that with all the essays that I did, just to memorize the rule statements, because I didn't want to get to the exam and blank. Like I knew if I could spot something and write the rule, like I could analyze, I could do all that, but I just need to remember that damn rule, because that's what you base your analysis off of. So yeah, I would write the rule statements out. And I'm glad I really took the time to do that. Like, I know some people were like, oh, I didn't worry about the essays until the end, I just drilled in the end. No way, Jose, that's not how I work. Like, I used my full 10 weeks, okay? So yeah, this phase 3, I would say that's when my days were like minimum 11 hours. The longest days that I studied were 14-hour days. And it was pretty rough, but I'm telling you, like, it kind of went by fast. Like, it never felt like, oh my God, I have more hours of doing this. It went by fast, but phase 3 is when my score finally started to go up. Like, phase 3 was when I finally was like 60% and above. So I was just like so happy because, you know, this is 3 weeks out from the bar. So it's like, girl, you better be passing around this time. But I'm just letting people know, like, I probably didn't start getting like 60%, 60s and 70s until phase 3, which is only 3 weeks out from the test. So that's kind of nerve-wracking, but I heard that's normal. Then I would say in the middle of phase 3, I did have like a drop, and I was like freaking out. Like, I did a day and I was getting like 80%, and then I took a test and it was like 52% or something, and I just cried. Like, so I just started crying. I had to go on a walk because I had a panic. Like, it was just so bad. But I took a walk. My boyfriend surprised me with some stuff, and like, you know, it was a bad day. I was gonna just take half the day off, and I ended up just taking the full day because it was bad. Actually, no, I did like some stuff, so I wouldn't count that as a day off, but like, it was just rough. But then, you know, you get back on the horse and it did start going up again. So that was phase 3. And I would say phase 3 probably ended for me like, damn, I'm not even doing my makeup anymore. Hold on. I'm gonna do 2 types of concealers, y'all. So this is my first one, just because I'm tan now, so I'm a tan little thing. But what was I saying? Okay, yeah, phase 3 ended, I would say like 5 days before the bar. I had a change. So like I said, just to recap for phase 3, like, I'm doing the multiple choice, I'm doing them on Adaptabar. I also started mainly only doing Adaptabar questions. Like, Barbie has their own questions, but they're a little funky. Like, Adaptabar, since those are real bar exam questions, I focused on those more. And I was tending to do better on Adaptabar than I was on Barbie. And like, I was doing good. So I was feeling like, okay, like, maybe I had to just change my strategy though. Once I started doing target practice, and I'm saying like, focusing on the questions I'm getting wrong, like within the subtopics of multiple choice, that's when I started to improve. And I had to do, like, when I'm like focusing on those things, like, I literally had to like use everything from Quimby to sometimes just Google, like a random, like Statica, I think that's what it's called. Like, I did everything to just try to learn the law, because things trip you up. Like with con law, whether it's like the 4th Amendment, like all of the amendments, it was just a lot of info. So if you have to go off Barbary, which I'm sure you will, it's okay. You know, you just have to learn the information. And I think it just took me, because I can be kind of rigid. I mean, I don't know if rigid is the word, but I'm definitely a rule follower. And so when someone tells me to do something, I tend to do it to a T. But with this process, it's not like that. It's not to a T, it's not linear. Like, you have to just figure it out and do what works for you. Just because someone says they did one thing, you don't have to do that exact thing. So I think just because Barbie said do this, I had to know that, like, okay, it's not, recognize that something isn't working for you, and like keep moving. End of phase 3, and the reason why I have, and the original thing my friend sent me, after phase 3, you know, you take the test. But I had to kind of do a phase 4, because once I had that really bad mental breakdown in the middle of phase 3, where like I got the bad score on the set of 33, and it just really like wrecked with my emotions. I was like, okay, Jordan, like, you cannot have this happen to you 5 days or less before the bar, because it's just not good for like my mental health. And I wanted to go into the bar feeling prepared, feeling calm, feeling confident. So I told myself that 5 days before the bar is when I'm gonna stop doing the multiple choice questions on Adaptabar, where I can see my score. So, you know, you take the little exam, and at the end they tell you how many you got right out of 33, which, you know, I was doing good, but I didn't want to just risk having a dip right before the bar. That's just how I am personally. So 5 days before, I stopped doing the little quizzes online to see a score. but I did download all of the questions I had ever done on Adaptabar and made a PDF. And that way, for the last few days, also I didn't feel like studying the last 5 days anyway, so this was also a passive way to do that. Because you reach a point where you're just like over it. You're just like, okay, I know what I know. And whatever, like, let me just take this damn test and figure it out. So it helped with that, but also I was just reading the questions to kind of stay fresh. So I wasn't getting a score or seeing a red X that could be triggering for me. I was just reading it and being like, okay, yeah, I got that one wrong because I put this, but I know it's that. Or yeah, I got that, I would get that one right. And these are all questions I've already done. So that's a really nice feature on Adaptabar that I definitely took advantage of. Because yeah, and that was phase 4, so reading the multiple choice questions, and then also phase 4 is when I started reading the outlines. Before then, I wasn't really an outline person. I didn't necessarily create an outline throughout this whole process because there are already so many outlines already created and they send them to you. But once you're like passive into it, you know, I was reading the outlines. I think one of my friends also sent me something with like a rule statements like gathered and everything, which was really good. Harvard be having the good stuff, y'all. He went to Harvard, and that was good. And that I used also to copy rule statements. I was just like, but I was mainly just reading stuff. I didn't want to be tired going into it. And then yeah, by that time it was time for the test. So now I'm gonna talk about kind of like test day-ish, an overview of how that went for me. So the test was on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that Sunday I did go to church. That was my first time going to church since bar prep even started. And I was debating going, you know, because you don't know about time, but I'm really glad I went. Like, that was also my first time going to church alone. I felt like such an adult, because usually I'll go with my mom or my friend or something, but I just went to church by myself, and you know, it fueled me up. Then on Monday, I did check into my hotel, because I got a hotel, just you want to be just like, treat yourself to something luxury if you can. And I wanted to be as close to the testing center as possible, and where I live and where the DC Armory is, it would be like a 45-minute drive. I'm not doing that the morning of the bar, like, no, and DC traffic. So I got a hotel in Navy Yard. I ended up staying at like the Courtyard Marriott down there. Nothing too fancy, but it worked. And that way I was only about 10 minutes away from the test. I did drive to the test because I wanted to have my phone with me during lunch, and I wanted to have like material to study during lunch. So that's why I wanted the car. And I was like, if I Uber there, I can't leave my phone in the car. I can't leave testing materials in the car. Like, just kind of assed out. So I'm glad I was able to like get a car, because I actually ended up borrowing someone's car because my car has had issues. Like, you know, the devil was after me. But anyway, so yeah, and then so yeah, Monday I check into the hotel, and then also Monday evening I bought lunch for Tuesday, because you want to just go to the test already with lunch already prepared. I'm glad I got that advice. And then I didn't leave the lunch in the car because it's like 100 degrees outside, so I just brought it in the test center with me. And I didn't eat in the test center, but I just had my lunch there, so that when on break I could just go right out, go to the car and eat my lunch, and it wasn't 100 degrees. So yeah, I would do that. And then during lunch I like sometimes study. Okay, the first day is the essay day, so like I brushed up a little bit, but it was really just like I might have looked at stuff for like 2 minutes, y'all. Like, it was not really anything, because I was just too nervous and just too much like, what am I gonna learn right now? But there were people out there doing flashcards and doing all this stuff, and I was just like, what are y'all doing? But anywho, that was day 1. And then after day 1 I bought lunch again for the next day. I just got Subway sandwiches, and then I also treated myself to ordering Indian food, and then went to do day 2, did that all over. And yeah, you all can ask me like more specific questions about like all this stuff, but I just wanted to kind of give you all a overview of like how my process went. After the second day of taking the test, I felt crazy. Like, I just felt so nauseous. I was just in shock. I also think I was so nauseous because I hadn't eaten. Hadn't drank water in hours, but it was rough. I didn't necessarily finish it feeling like, oh, I passed. No. I would say the essay day, after I did the essays, I was like, ooh, I think I'm gonna pass this. I think I'm gonna pass this. Because the essays went fine. The multiple choice, I was like, damn, I could have gotten too, right? Like you never know. So that's how it went for me. Now let's do mascara. I'm just so happy to be done with that chapter in my life. Like, I'm just so grateful. Recently I just paid DC their $300 something to actually be an active attorney. I don't get a swearing in ceremony, which is kind of like boo-hoo. Like, damn, class of 2020, we didn't get a graduation, a college graduation. Didn't get a college graduation. I didn't get in-person pin ceremony for the beginning of law school, and I don't get a swearing in ceremony. I think it's just gonna be virtual, but that's fine. I got my law license. I'm good with the DC bar. So yeah, you guys have really been along this whole journey. Thank you so much. I think maybe after this, you all probably have more questions after this, so I'll do like a bar Q&A, but I just wanted this to be the video where like, okay, how did she study? Because that's like a long, you know, this is kind of long-winded. One thing I'll do is I'll give you all a rundown of like one of my days, because I have, you know, I do all this stuff and it's handwritten. Oh, why is mascara so messy? I knew I was gonna spill something, that's why I brought this little wipe. Okay, so how I tracked my days, I used, what is this, Good Notes, and I used this planner that Clark, you know, Clark from TikTok. She has a digital planner and I bought it. So this is like a day in the beginning. So for example, May 25th, I had contracts questions and evidence essay that I submitted. I had to watch a con law MBE approach video, con law workshop, and contracts questions. And then I made con law flashcards, I guess, and then I had dinner and drinks. But then once we get down into like, we'll say July 10th, I did an evidence essay. I did 33 Barbie questions where I got 19 out of 33. Oof. I did target practice with property and torts, and then I did 14 Barbie questions and I got 10 out of 14 right. Then I did a conflicts of law essay, and I did evidence rule statements, drilling them, and I did a Civ Pro essay, and I read an MEE. Oh yeah, that's something else I forgot to mention. The last like 2 weeks, I also would read a bar exam a night. Just read over it and bullet point it, stuff like that. Just look at the old exams, and you can find the old exams on New York, I think they post them. Okay, this is the day when I had the mental breakdown. It was here, July 12th, and I got 15 out of 34. Y'all, I was a wreck, but you know what happens. So yeah, that's pretty much my day to day. And then, okay, people will say they took like how many days off they took. I took a total of 3 days off. I took May 27th off because it was my really close friend's graduation party. She did like a brunch, and after you go to brunch, you know, study. So that day was off. I took Juneteenth off, and then I took like, I think it was like July 20th off, and that was like my massage day, because you know the test is July 25th, so I took like a day off to just like do self-care. But I only took those 3 days off. I stopped drinking Juneteenth was my last day drinking, because you know drinking affects your memory, and I was just like, you know, let me just not do nothing with drinking involved after this date, because I want to be in my tip-top shape with the brain. So yeah, look at the makeup. I feel like I could do a little bit more mascara, but I'm always on that fine line, because when you do too much, it gets too clumped up in my experience. So I think this is enough. Ooh, I still need to do my hair clearly and then put my outfit on, but you know, I don't have that many makeup looks, y'all, so. And I want to buy all new makeup, so if you all tried something new that you like, let me know, because I want a new foundation. And I'm thinking about getting the House of Labs or the Makeup by Mario. I think my skin has like, I don't know if the Fenty is still doing it for me anymore. I don't think that's enough coverage. But anyway, enough of me yapping. Let me do my hair and I'll come back and show you all the full outfit. So this is the outfit. It's just one of my favorite bodysuits with strips. With my favorite booties, and then to just kind of add some accessories to this like simple chic look, I'm gonna be wearing my new leather biker jacket from the Jacket Maker. And this is actually like a brown, like a dark brown, but it's a little distressed. I feel like it goes with my little rocker vibe. And then I have my silver accessories. So that's the look. I'm about to hit up the group chat to figure out what we're about to do today, because I'm going out. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And thank you again to Jacket Maker. Bye.
Uh-oh, the game in trouble. Started out small, now they paying me double. Yeah, you can drip check, baby, like mustard. Yeah.